Hey everyone, how are you this afternoon or morning or evening, depending where on the world you're watching? If you're looking at the camera right now, you're probably seeing a replay of me grabbing for the other products that I'm going to be talking about. It's the Paula's Choice live chat with me, Bryan Barron, the Director of Skincare Research for Paula's Choice Skincare, and we are going to be talking about our upcoming holiday gift sets. There are three curated sets, so I'm going to walk you through those, who they're best for, what they do, whether you're shopping for yourself, whether you are shopping for friends or family. These are some of our top performing products, some of our global favorites, and they are available through December 31st while supplies last. And we all know that there's been supply issues, so that is your cue to not wait too long, buy early. They are 25% off, so that's the other really exciting thing about these kits. They've been handpicked for how well the three products work together to address various concerns. And yeah, so we'll get to those. I'm going to give you some hints about the upcoming Black Friday specials. What else? It's Thanksgiving Eve here in the United States. So this is my last working day for the week, and it's nearing the end of my working day. So it's been a kind of a crazy week. Those weeks when you have you're working 3 of the 5 days, and you kind of feel like you have to cram in 5 days worth of work into 3 days, and it's just not possible. But I continue to. We've had some really. I can't reveal details, of course. But the team and I have had some really exciting discussions this week about new technologies, new ingredients that we are looking to explore. Not saying that they will come to fruition in terms of a product that you'll be able to purchase, but who knows, they might. And that is one of the things that makes this industry, and in particular, the process that the Paula's Choice team goes through to vet ingredients, to look at supplier data, to look at what the published scientific research says, meaning that the independent research, because of course suppliers it's in their best interest to make their ingredients look as effective and enticing as possible. And that is not in any way to discount the work that they do, because we work with some incredible ingredient suppliers whose clinical data, in vivo, meaning on skin testing of their ingredients, is really top notch. So, okay, how's everybody doing? This may not be a hour-long show, depending on. It really kind of depends on how many questions pile up in the queue. Because it isn't going to take me super long to go over these kits. The other thing I wanted to mention, though, before I go into the specifics of the kits, is that on our Paula's Choice site, paulaschoice.com, we have a 2021 gift glow guide. The theme is Holiday Your Way, and it is paulaschoice.com/holiday-gift-guide. And in that section, which our lovely site team has put together, you will be able to see all of the kits that I'll be talking about, as well as the discounts attached to them. You'll be able to shop by like products for glow, products for pores, retinol products, hydration heroes, things like that. You're going to see our top picks. Actually, since I'm on this page, what are my top picks this season? Excellent. The C15 Super Booster and the Power Berry Serum. Okay, good. Excellent. Those are still 2 of my favorites. Okay. So check that out. That's kind of like your one-stop, place to navigate on our site if you are shopping. I also wanted to mention, I brought these 2 products out. These are from my my personal stash. It can be tricky buying skincare for people on your list if you don't necessarily know what their skin type is or what their concerns are. Now, if you're a parent, for example, and you're buying for your teens and that your teens are struggling with acne, okay, the clear products from Paula's Choice would be brilliant choices. However, let's say you're shopping for an older adult and you're not quite sure where they are in terms of their journey with skincare, and are wrinkles a bothersome issue for them, or are they kind of like not even worried about it? Are they dealing with uneven skin tone, clogged pores, that kind of thing? So that it can be a little trickier in that regard. But these two products from our body care line are, I think, two items, particularly if you live in an area of the world where you experience a drier, colder, low humidity winter season, I think are fantastic. One is the Daily Replenishing Body Cream. Again, it's a all skin types product. It is creamy and silky, and it has a wonderful spread to it, but it doesn't feel thick or occlusive or waxy. This is hands down one of my favorite products that we made. It's kind of a sleeper product. I don't think it gets as much love as I personally think it deserves. So I always like mentioning that, and I think it is, let's see. Okay, for that. I want to make sure that I'm giving you the correct 22. 22. Now, is that more expensive than a body lotion or cream you can find in most drug or mass market stores? Yes. Is it a more sophisticated formula? Oh my, yes. Really, for what is packed in this product, the different ceramides, the peptide, the various antioxidants, the high amount of non-fragrant, I believe it's safflower oil. Yep, safflower oil, which is an incredible oil to calm and soothe the visible signs of dry skin. Even like when you have those little patches of eczema that pop up seasonally, you can put this replenishing body cream on those areas to help them look and feel better. They do not step in and take the place of any prescription topical products your doctor may be having you use for that, but you can use this product alongside your prescription topicals specifically designed for eczema. And it really is just about making skin look and feel better. Very smooth. It's not greasy. I love it. And straight from my bedside drawer, and I apologize, it's kind of all squeezed to death, but the Ultra Rich Soothing Body Butter. This is $19 for a 4-ounce tube. It makes a remarkable hand cream. If you're like me and in the colder winter months, your hands just all of a sudden they go from being completely normal to uncomfortably dry and itchy, and you get those little splits and stuff. Daily use of a rich product like this, it's loaded with shea butter, coconut oil, jojoba butter, mango butter, can really help to keep skin smooth and soft and supple. And if you're one of those people that has started washing your hands more often, or you just do that at this time of year anyway because it's cold and flu season, the body butter is incredible to have on hand because it's rich. It's very thick. It almost has like a toothpaste-like consistency, but as soon as it melts onto your skin, as soon as it warms up to your body temperature, it's just so smooth and like it's emollient, and it feels protective, almost like a invisible glove, so to speak. But then like 5 minutes later, you can touch things, and it's not your fingers and your hands don't feel greasy. You're not slipping off that doorknob because there's just way too much greasiness to the product. So really a favorite of mine. And again, both of those items are something you can get for anybody on your list, and they'll appreciate them. Even if it's not something they're going to use year round, I think they'll really appreciate them. So the holiday kits in particular for 2021, let's start out with our Tighten and Reshape Pores kit. Okay, in this kit, you are getting our Skin Balancing Pore Reducing Toner, which is a great blend of niacinamides, ceramides, phytosphingosine, which is a ceramide precursor. It can help your skin create more of the ceramides it needs to thrive. It's got soothing burdock root. It's got adenosine, which is an energizing ingredient. It really helps to promote a healthier looking complexion. Along with that, so I'm presenting these in the order of application. So your toner. Next up, the worldwide global bestseller, our Skin Perfecting 2% BHA liquid, an incredible leave-on exfoliant. If you are at all familiar with Paula's Choice, this is the product that put us on the map and is still doing so. So that is, of course, included in the kit because BHA, or salicylic acid, is such a master at penetrating into the pore lining and helping to dislodge and thin that buildup of thickened oil, dead skin cells, cellular debris like those the tiny hairs that line the hair follicle. You know, just like the hairs on our head go through a resting and growth and a shedding phase, so do the hairs, the very tiny little sweeper hairs, I call them, that line the pore, which is called the pilosebaceous unit. So those hairs shed, and then a new hair pops up to take its place, and so that hair has to go somewhere, right? Well, if you have that thickened backup in the pore lining of all of those substances mixing together, BHA can kind of cut through that and help bring all that to the surface so that it can be washed away. And as a result of that, not only is the clog dissolved, but your pore, in a matter of time, it doesn't happen overnight in terms of this, but your enlarged pores will go back to their genetically predetermined size. Yay. Next up in the kit, this is kind of the powerhouse. I mean, it's sort of like, all right, pore reducing toner is the warm-up, kick things into gear with a 2% BHA liquid exfoliant, and then the clinical 20% niacinamide treatment. This really is brilliant. And despite being 20% niacinamide, I must say it's quite gentle. But it really is brilliant at dealing with not only pore size, but also pore laxity. So basically what happens to our pores as we get older and accumulate more sun damage. That loss, what the UV exposure does to the skin supportive elements, and think of it like springs in a mattress. Over time, those coils, they don't bounce back as nicely as they used to. They get damaged and they become frayed, not literally frayed because it's a metal, but the substances in our skin get to the point where they are damaged, they get weaker and weaker, they don't spring back as fast as they used to, or in some cases, not at all. This can result in first signs of sagging, and with that loss of the support, it can kind of, as the skin starts drifting downward, it can take it can change the pore shape, what you see on the surface. So what used to be a round, plump pore opening is almost taken on like a bit of a teardrop shape. It's heavier looking at the bottom than it was on the top, and some people refer to that as orange peel texture. And the 20% niacinamide treatment, a few drops of this, is brilliant at improving the appearance of that rougher looking texture. It has meadowsweet to help improve oil. It has the acetylglucosamine, which works well with niacinamide to provide a mild resurfacing action. It does not exfoliate per se, but it's working further to help refine skin's texture. And I know you've heard, if you've watched these chats before, I could go on all day about all of the things that niacinamide does for skin. So in a higher concentration like this, you are getting definitely more, I guess you'd say, focused attention on the concern of enlarged and lax pores, but you're still getting everything else that niacinamide does. So wonderful kit there, and that is $73 for the kit. Those items are normally $98.50 if you were to purchase them outside of our holiday period. Again, these prices are active through December 31st. Okay, kit number 2. Get my products lined up. This is the Fade Dark Spots plus Discolorations kit. and it includes one of my favorites, the C15 Super Booster. You also get the Discoloration Repair Serum, which launched earlier this year, and our best-selling Resist Barrier Repair Moisturizer with retinol. Now that contains a lower amount of retinol, what I consider a starter amount. But if you know your skin is used to retinol and you're already using a stronger retinol product, you can weave in a product like that and not have. I don't think you'd get any kickback from too much retinol. Individual response, those will vary, so you're going to have to pay attention as always to how your skin responds. But I just wanted to put that disclaimer out there so that you would know that if you're using a retinol product already, I wouldn't worry about adding the amount of retinol in this into what you're already doing. So the C15 Super Booster, a few drops of that, you can put that on first. That is going to help to brighten. It's going to help to improve uneven skin tone. It's going to help to reduce the appearance of lines and wrinkles, and just in general make skin look and feel much healthier. Vitamin C is the primary antioxidant in the skin, but it is also one of the first to go as we get older and accumulate more environmental damage. And what's more interesting is that as those, as your age creeps up, as the amount of damage we've accumulated creeps up, the skin isn't as good at holding on to the vitamin C that it sends to the skin. So using it, giving that vitamin C back via topical products becomes very important. Whether it's this product or somebody else's, it doesn't have to be ours. I think ours is incredible. You're getting the pure ascorbic acid. It is stabilized in a vitamin E ferulic acid blend. It has a anti-aging peptide in the formula. There's some sodium hyaluronate, which is the salt form of hyaluronic acid. Super lightweight, all skin types formula. Next up is the Clinical Discoloration Repair Serum. This has more of a lotion-like texture. It's definitely become a staple in my routine because honestly, for some of the stubborn brown spots that I have not found anything that has worked as well. I mean, really, really well. That has the 3% tranexamic acid, which is a newer ingredient that has some really good comparative studies attesting that its efficacy for stubborn skin discolorations is equal to or greater than the gold standard, which is hydroquinone. Now, hydroquinone is no longer available in most markets. You can still get it via prescription from a dermatologist, but understandably, many of you are wary about using that ingredient on your skin. Tranexamic acid has shown to be very safe and highly effective. We also paired that with 5% niacinamide because niacinamide can help to improve the look of hyperpigmentation. There's vitamin E in a higher amount. Surprisingly, vitamin E at the amount that we use in this serum can also lend its weight toward improving the look of hyperpigmentation, particularly the stubborn spots and that more patchy, diffuse discoloration. It also has milk thistle seed oil in it, again, contributing to that overall impact of improving your skin color, making things look more even, getting your color back to, so it looks uniform all over the face. I love it. I've been using it on my son, who is 6. He had a little patch of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation from a past injury. And I had been using a vitamin C product on him, not the C15. I was using our C25 Super Booster. And I got a little bit of results from that, but after about 8 weeks, I was kind of like, I think I'm just going to try something else because I'm really curious as to how he would do with the tranexamic acid niacinamide blend. And he actually preferred the way that it felt. So he looks forward to me putting it on, and I'll just put it like maybe 2 or 3 times a week after his shower. And it took about maybe 3 weeks, but that PIH mark that I thought was just going to be, that was as good as it's going to get, it's almost gone. you can't even really see where it was anymore. So I'm very happy about that. He has had no adverse reaction to it. I don't think most people who use this product would have a tolerability issue with it. You can apply it all over, which is what I would recommend if you're thinking, well, I have patchy discoloration or just an uneven skin tone I really want to improve. Then you can put it all over. I use it as a spot treatment. I have some discoloration around here. I have some discoloration over here. So I put it on once a day in the morning underneath my sunscreen. You can use it up to twice a day. Because it is a more bioactive product, if you are new to it, we recommend starting slowly and noting your skin's response. But ultimately, I think most people will be able to work up to twice daily application, and that is in fact what the research has shown is the frequency of use that is necessary over a 12-week period or 3 months to get great results from that combination of ingredients. So that is the Fade Dark Spots and Discolorations kit. Last but not least is our Omega Plus Complex kit. That includes the Omega Plus Complex Cleansing Balm, which launched earlier this year and has been getting consistently excellent reviews. I've had many people tell me that it is the best cleansing balm that they've ever tried. They just love it. It is not completely personal preference here. I'm not a cleansing balm person. I got to experiment with this when it was being developed and offer my feedback, trying it on wet skin, dry skin, removing this type of makeup, removing sunscreen. So I definitely put it through its paces, but because this is the only cleansing balm I've ever used on a regular basis when we were developing it, so I wouldn't be the one to say this is the best cleansing balm ever. I think it's an amazing formula in and of itself, but I haven't tried 16 different cleansing balms over the last 5 years, so I can, really compare. So why am I telling you all this? Because what I have heard from people who are cleansing balm aficionados is that they really like this one, and that just makes me so happy. It is a very rich, very concentrated formula. A little bit goes a long way. It is jojoba oil based, along with some olive oil esters, the caprylic capric triglyceride. It has an emulsifier in it that turns it into a milky emulsion that can be rinsed with water, and it does not leave a greasy or tacky film on the skin. You're also getting our Omega Plus Complex Serum, which was the product that launched our Omega collection, the Omega franchise. Omega fatty acids are kind of neck and neck with ceramides for some of the best ingredients to improve skin's barrier, to improve moisture retention, to soothe the skin, and to really, it's almost, it's not necessarily an exaggeration that as healthy as omega fatty acids are for your diet, just eating them from good food sources or supplements, depending. I know like a lot of us don't eat fish, fatty fish in particular, as often as we should to keep our omega-3 levels up. So, like, for example, I take a krill oil supplement, and I have not had any issues with it whatsoever. One of the things that was actually recommended by my doctor to keep my triglycerides down. You go in and have your blood test and cholesterol and all that. So my couple years ago, my triglycerides were inching toward being too high. They were like on the high end of normal. And I had read some research that taking krill oil supplements can reduce your triglyceride level over a period of time by anywhere from 15 to 20%. So I started taking that when that initial test result came back borderline high. And then a year later, I'm back from my physical and I have the same blood test done. I'll be damned, my triglycerides were 20% lower. And I really hadn't modified anything else in my diet per se. I had just been taking this krill oil, very powerful omega-3 fatty acid. That is not one of the omega fatty acids in this serum or in the last product in this kit, which is our Omega Plus Complex Eye Cream. Now, why is that? The reason is krill oil, because it comes from crustaceans, doesn't really have the best smell. Not something you'd want to put on your skin. So our omega fatty acids, the omega-3, the omega-6, the omega-9, are from plant sources. So your chia seed oil, your flaxseed oil, what's the other one? The plum seed oil. These products, jojoba oil is a pretty good source. That is what we used in the cleansing balm. But the Omega Plus Complex Serum gets you those omegas along with some conditioning plant-derived ingredients that have an emollient function, as well as your ceramides. So excellent, excellent mix. This is really more of an all skin types kit. You know what? I don't think I told you. Let's see. I don't want to get too off track. The Omega Plus Complex kit for the serum, the cleansing balm, and the eye cream. And of course, cleanse first, then your serum, which you could put on after your exfoliant if you use an exfoliant, and then your eye cream, which you can use morning or evening. Of course, work sunscreen into your morning routine. The Omega Plus Complex kit is $74 during this special period. It is normally $99 for those three products. And then the Fade Dark Spots and Discolorations collection, those three products are $96. They would normally be $128. So with all of these kits, you're getting a significant savings. Now, in terms of Black Friday, which is a couple days from now, what do we have up our sleeves? I've been told to just convey to you all to stay tuned because we've got some exciting surprises coming up, some one-day only type things, and we'll also be peppering in some really fun money-saving specials throughout the month of December. It's been a tough year for a lot of us with the ongoing pandemic. Man, fingers crossed that next year will really be turning a major corner there. But we wanted to make sure that however you holiday and whichever holidays you celebrate as we close out the year, that you do so having fantastic skin and having the opportunity to give fantastic skin and excellent products to the people on your list. Okay, so now that we've covered that, let's check in on some questions. Katie says, happy holidays. These chats are your gift to us. Always such valuable information. I can't tell you how many family, friends, and acquaintances I've introduced to PC. Thank you so much, Katie. We appreciate your support. That's beautiful to hear. Thoughts on the Omega Moisturizer for combination skin with the second ingredient being shea butter. I use the Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer. It's been my nighttime moisturizer for the past maybe 6 months or so. I've had it for a while, but there was a period where during the warmer summer months, I was using our water-infusing electrolyte moisturizer because it's much lighter. It's more of like a refreshing splash of water for your skin. It's obviously more than water, but you get the idea. It feels very light and cooling going on. And cooling without the use of menthol or peppermint, ingredients like that, I may add. So with the Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer, I have combination skin as well. I do put that all over my face except for my nose. My nose does not need more moisture. And I have not had a problem. So speaking anecdotally, I think it really is going to come down to, does shea butter, have you established that whenever you use something with shea butter for a long enough period of time, you get breakouts? I don't think the Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer feels heavy or occlusive at all. Like, for example, our Moisture Boost, our Skin Recovery moisturizers, which are for dry to very dry skin, those have a much richer, more emollient feel than the Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer, which really is best described as having a souffle-like texture. So I like it for that. I'm a big fan. Whether if you're concerned about breakouts, it really is going to come down to how your skin reacts to shea butter. Shea butter isn't necessarily an inherently comedogenic ingredient. It's a great drier finish emollient, great source of antioxidants. I'm a big, and it has nice skin soothing properties as well, so it complements the omega fatty acids. Jean-Michael says, hi, Brian. Some weeks ago, I heard someone saying a new sunscreen might be on the way. Can you give us any new info on that? Ha, 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 ha. Happy holidays. Jean-Michael, yeah, we are always looking at different SPFs. We're doing some rejiggering. So there are some SPF products in the works, but I can't say more than that at this time. Other than like the favorites that people have come to love over the years, like the Resist Super Light Daily Wrinkle Defense SPF 30, and the Resist Youth Extending SPF 50, that very fluid sunscreen of ours. Those are not going away. But yes, as new technology comes to light, we're looking at creating. We're looking at how we can utilize some of the UV filters that are approved overseas and creating distinctive products, sun protecting products for that market. But yeah, in terms of specifics beyond that, launch dates and so on, I have no new information to share with you. Okay, and he was also asking if we'll ever sell our dietary supplements in the EU. I have not heard any changes there. Off the top of my head, I can't remember why they aren't able to sell it. I don't know. It's a great supplement, but there may be a regulatory reason that's escaping me why that product is not available in the EU market. Thank you for the compliment, Nathan. I'm glad you're enjoying the chats. All right, and then we've got links here from the social team to all of the kits I was talking about. Frida says, hello, Brian. A Korean brand called Mary and May only uses 2 parts per million of each peptide in their peptide serum. Is that small amount even effective? All the best from Sweden. Frida, it depends on the peptide. The different peptides have different activity levels. I was really surprised to find out that for many peptides, what seems like a vanishingly low amount, like 0.001% or less, is effective. And all peptides are supplied, well, at least the ones that we deal with, as part. They are in a blend with other ingredients, like there's often some water, there's maybe a butylene glycol type ingredient, and then the peptide is suspended in that mix. Like water, for example. Water is a solvent, like denatured alcohol, but unlike denatured alcohol, the water that is in skincare products doesn't have a detrimental effect on skin. So it's hard to answer that question without seeing more details about the peptide itself. It is definitely possible, though, even though 2 parts per million sounds incredibly tiny. If it's potent enough, if it's small enough, and if it's engineered to get where it needs to be to reach its target area in skin, then yeah, there may well be some efficacy there. Darren says, hi, Brian. Will Resist Dry Skin version ever get a tinted mineral sunscreen? That's a good question. It's not something that we've discussed because generally the skin restoring moisturizer SPF 50 in Resist is pretty well liked. And then there's kind of an issue with doing a tinted mineral sunscreen where no matter how you tint it, it ends up leaving people out. And we try to be as inclusive as possible with our products. And ironically, if you want to create a mineral sunscreen and you don't give it some sort of a tint, then you're still leaving some people out because they will experience the dreaded white cast. Even people with very light skin like me can be affected by that. If a mineral-based sunscreen on me goes on to white or pasty looking, I look dead. I mean, there's just no nicer way to say that. So yeah, it's we talk a lot about mineral sunscreens and how we can make them better. It's a very tricky balancing act to use because of the amount of, whether zinc or titanium, the amount that you typically need to use to reach your desired SPF, and then how that affects the aesthetics, and then how that affects other ingredients in the formula, And, do we do a little bit of a tint? Do we not do any tint? Do we do different tints? So it's an ongoing discussion. I will say that there's definitely been more of a movement toward mineral sunscreens, not just in terms of discussions and whatnot and Paula's Choice, but I've seen more and more brands at all ends of the, mass market brands, department store brands, the Sephora brands and whatnot, moving toward mineral sunscreens. They're very gentle. They provide broad spectrum protection. They're just well tolerated, and there are various controversies surrounding some of the synthetic sunscreen ingredients, which I hate calling them that because technically the mineral ones are synthetic too. They have a natural source, but what creates zinc oxide that you put on your skin is definitely a synthetic process. Which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's just a bit of a misnomer to say the mineral sunscreens are natural and everything else that is a UV filter is synthetic, because it just kind of, the underpinning of that is that the synthetic ones are bad, and that's not the case. But having said that, some of them, like oxybenzone, do have their share of controversies around them, deserved or not. And so I think that's another reason why the mineral sunscreens are looked on more favorably by many consumers and brands. Okay, so that was Darren's. And then the King says, yes, Omega Cleansing Balm is like best on the market. Bryan, can you talk about thermal spring water that companies offer, what science says? I haven't looked at the Othermal Avene. It may be pronounced Aven, so my apologies if I'm not saying that correctly. They're the line that put the thermal spring water on the map. And they have studies. Well, the studies that I've seen on this topic were typically done by Avene or by people who are employed by that company or employed specifically for the purpose to do this study. So in other words, it was a company-sponsored study. If the company didn't directly do it themselves, they were sponsoring the researchers or the scientists that did. They did show that due to the unique mineral composition of the thermal spring water from which I believe that the spring is in France, I don't remember exactly where, that they were able to show that it has certain skin healing properties and soothing and so on and so forth. Given that the nature of minerals and other substances and water, when you're taking the natural source, it changes over time. I don't know if I would put all my eggs in one basket and say that thermal spring water is just where it's at. I think that there are more reliable ingredients you can use in a skincare product that will give many of those same benefits. However, I've never seen any information indicating that thermal spring water in and of itself is a problem for skin. So I wouldn't say, don't try these products. But I do think, at least from what I'm recalling, having reviewed such products in the past and looked at their ingredient lists versus their claims, I think it's fair to say that many of them are overhyped. And in some cases, that it kind of reminds me of that expression: if something sounds too good to be true, it probably is. But again, even under those circumstances, it doesn't make thermal spring water a bad thing for skin. Another question from the King: I like to use recovery moisturizer. I have dry skin and eczema, and it has evening primrose oil, and it helps me. Does heavier creams contribute to needing more exfoliation? No, they shouldn't. Think about it. Even when you are a teenager and your oily skin, your oil glands are on overdrive because of the hormonal changes occurring during adolescence, your skin is still exfoliating. Those skin cells are still coming off. They have more of a tendency to get backed up in the pores. But as with any skincare routine, I'm a big fan, and of course so is Paula's Choice, of routine use of a leave-on exfoliant, whether It's alpha hydroxy acid, beta hydroxy acid. There's also another group called polyhydroxy acid, or PHAs, your gluconolactone, lactobionic acid. We do not sell PHA exfoliants, but there are brands out there that do, and they are another consideration in the exfoliation category. So I don't think that you would see a detrimental effect in that regard. But I would also urge you to use a leave-on exfoliant for all of the benefits that that gives you, if that makes sense. JL says, Bryan, I remember that Paula's Choice has always been vocal against products in jars. However, I watch YouTube channels from cosmetic dermatologists, and they recommend products in jars. Thoughts? Oh, that's come up a lot. I think the dermatologists that, many of the dermatologists that we align ourselves with, that we definitely support, they're aware, they know what we know from the research. This isn't our opinion. We're not just making this up because we have a vendetta against jars, right? They know from the research that jars are problematic for ingredients that are air and light sensitive, which pretty much is any antioxidant, any plant extract, retinol, vitamin C, and on and on and on. There's very few ingredients that beneficial ingredients for skin that are so stable in the presence of light and air that packaging is irrelevant. So my thinking is they're either, the ones that do recommend products in jars are either not aware of the research, maybe they don't believe the research, maybe they're thinking that the usage rate of the product, that, yes, you're getting some deterioration, but it probably isn't going to be that bad. And while that may be true for some formulas, you're spending your hard-earned money on skincare. You want to get the most efficacy from it from first to last use. So knowing that, why would you buy something in a jar where from the very first time you take that lid off, those delicate ingredients are going to start breaking down? And it is, for many of them, it's a gradual process. So yes, it could be said that you're not getting that much degradation by the time you get halfway through, and then by the time you get to the bottom, it's gone down a little more, but still not terrible. But wouldn't you want the freshest, most efficacious product from first to last use? I mean, that's why we use packaging like this. The opaque container, the inner chamber, the pump. I find that much more hygienic to use also than jars. That's one of the things that also surprises me about dermatologists who recommend products, particularly water-based products, in jars, is that you're dipping your finger in. You're putting stress on the preservative system every time you use it. There's only so much you can do to get your fingers cleaned, right? So even if you wash your hands before every use of that product, you're not getting everything off that could potentially contaminate that product and stress the preservative system. Ideally, the preservative system should be working to help keep the ingredients stable throughout the life of the product, and anything that may interfere with that is going to weaken the preservative system as well. And ditto if the product comes with one of those little spatulas, or some brands come with a little tiny spoon, so you can just scoop it out. It's difficult. First of all, keeping track of that little tool is not the easiest thing. And then you have to worry about keeping it clean, like scrupulously clean between uses, if you want to avoid cross-contamination. Andrea says, I've heard that vitamin C can turn light hair orange as it oxidizes throughout the day. I'm a senior with snow white hair and brows. Have you any advice for preventing this? How can I keep it from migrating there, etc.? I haven't heard of that happening, but I suppose it could be possible. Boy, snow white hair, that must be gorgeous. I think the best thing you can do is apply the vitamin C product smack in the center of your forehead and blend out this way. Stop short of the temple area, stop short of the hairline. It's almost like you need to sort of like visualize a rectangle on your forehead that's like the vitamin C zone. because some of some of it will, as it warms up to your body temperature, some of it will migrate above and below and to the sides. But if you stop maybe a half an inch or so short of those areas, including the brows, I think you'll be fine. Personally, over the years, I've never heard of a hair discoloration complaint from using a vitamin C product. But that's my own experience. I don't know 100% right now in this moment if that is or isn't possible. But I don't want you to sacrifice your gorgeous white hair to be able to use a vitamin C product. So try what I suggested and see if that helps. Daniel says, hey, Bryan, happy Thanksgiving. Is tranexamic acid comparable to hydroquinone? They work in different manners. So if I guess in terms of comparability, if that's a word, I would say that the outcome, the results are comparable. And in some cases better, depending on the study. But you want to look for products that contain 2 to 3% of tranexamic acid, and ideally mixed with or combined with other ingredients that can have a visible impact on hyperpigmentation. Reason I say that is because there's all of these ingredients take distinctive and overlapping pathways to achieve their goals. And the process of hyperpigmentation, what we would see on the surface as a dark spot, it's multifactorial. And so it can become very important to address as many steps as possible in the mitigation of those dark spots to get the kind of results that you want. That's why some people, it may not have great results with vitamin C alone, but vitamin C with niacinamide is the ticket for them, or the niacinamide with azelaic acid does it. It's just not as simple as treating discolorations with one ingredient. In the case of our C25, which I was discussing earlier, that concentration of vitamin C has been 20% and above has been shown to be effective on stubborn dark spots. But again, it's not going to work equally for everybody, which is kind of the agony and the ecstasy. I can't say to somebody with discolorations, yes, this is for certain going to work for you, because sometimes it won't, and you don't necessarily know why, particularly if you've been good about all the other hallmarks of fighting discoloration, not using irritating skincare products, always using sunscreen every day. That always has to be part of the process when you're struggling to improve discolorations. What was it that Dr. Hartman said? It was something about, if you don't use a sunscreen along with your discoloration fighting product, it's sort of like putting on a raincoat when you're already soaking wet. The damage has been done. There's no need to try to, putting on that raincoat isn't going to keep you dry. You're already wet. I thought that was kind of an interesting analogy to the importance of pairing a good sunscreen with any discoloration fighting product. Oh, Frida, I skipped your second question. Was it your second question or your first question? Okay, we talked about the peptide. I don't see your second question, Frida, because we talked about the Korean brand and or the 2 parts per million peptide. If there was something else I missed, let me know. Got a few more minutes here. Daniel, have I seen this study? Adapalene 0.3% gel shows efficacy for the treatment of atrophic acne scars. I have not seen that study. Adapalene is also known as Differin. That's the brand name, and 0.3% is a prescription amount. I wonder. That's what I thought. Atrophic scars are another name for indented scars, such as from acne, severe acne, or chickenpox. I mean, adapalene has been on the scene, that rhymes, for quite some time. indented scars can be really difficult to improve topically. The prescription retinoids, I could see them netting you some improvement because of their ability to stimulate collagen and to some extent do some repair of the damaged collagen. But I wouldn't. I just can't imagine that it would work as well as dermal fillers that dermatologists can use to raise that depressed area to fill it in so that it's more even with the surrounding skin. So I don't know. I'm a little skeptical. Daniel, if you have a link to that study and you can post it, I'll take a look at it and we can talk about it further on the next chat. Let's see. Last question. Not sure to reapply directly to a person. Katie, I have combo skin and use the Omega Moisturizer and love it. All right, Katie, did you hear that? Working Mom 2 is another fan of the Omega Plus Complex Moisturizer, and she has combination skin. Okay. Quick scroll down here. Body butter. All right, guys. Oh, wait. Wonderbind07, I've heard large pores can be the result of sun damage rather than excess oil. Absolutely true. Would you use different products to treat and minimize these types of large pores? You may not need to use a leave-on BHA exfoliant if your enlarged pores aren't caused by the pores becoming clogged. However, if your large pores are as a result of sun damage, AHA or BHA exfoliants can really help improve the appearance of sun-damaged skin as well. They can really help improve the skin texture, skin tone. The AHAs in particular are very, very hydrating. Salicylic acid has some hydrating abilities too, but it's not on par with what the AHAs can do, which is generally why we recommend AHA exfoliants for normal to dry skin and BHA exfoliants for combination to oily or clog prone skin. But in terms of which ingredient you should use in that situation, again, I do still think a leave-on exfoliant has its place whenever we're dealing with sun damaged skin. But I would say niacinamide. I would say either the 10% niacinamide booster or the clinical 20% niacinamide, which is in the Tighten and Reshape Pores kit that we talked about earlier in the show, and then the skin balancing, pore reducing toner. Actually, that would be a really good kit for you now that I'm thinking about it, because you're also getting the 2% BHA liquid exfoliant. So, all right, everybody, I am going to wrap up just a wee bit earlier. I wanted to thank you so much for joining and for your questions. Speaking on behalf of Paula's Choice, we are very, very thankful to have such loyal customers who've just stuck with us, and they keep us going, and they challenge us, and we can have a respectful dialogue about all things skin, and I love being a part of that. So thank you. If you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you have a wonderful day tomorrow with friends and loved ones and family. Go give them a hug. People need it. And I will be back on December 8th. We're only doing one live chat in December mostly because of my schedule. I have a shorter month because of needing to take some extra time off that the company affords me to do. So that's kind of fun. Anyway, I'm starting to babble. So I will see you again. We'll talk again on December 8th. And until then,